We turn now to the southern border, where there are now more than 3,400 unaccompanied children in Border Patrol custody, some being held in jail-like conditions for days. Today, Democratic Congressman Henry Cuellar from Texas joined Republican Senator John Cornyn on a visit to Laredo and a tour of a detention facility for migrant children in Carrizo Springs. And Congressman Cuellar joins us now. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
ABC News has not been given access to a child detention center, but today you were given a tour. So can you describe for us what you saw and what our viewers need to know?
Certainly, it's a place that used to be a oil field workers camp. Of course, they brought in a contractor that's been working with kids since the surge of 2014. So they got a lot of experience. We got to see where they eat. We got to see where they get education. We got to see where they get legal services. So it's a place that the kids are well taken care of. Now, that is a reception area, which is the new term that they're using. This is different from Border Patrol. The Border Patrol, as you know, was set up, those facilities were set up to handle mainly male adults. But it's something that in the last 10 years has changed, where we're now getting family units and unaccompanied kids. But remember, they're held there at the Border Patrol for only 72 hours, and we got to figure out how we look at those first 72 hours.
And to that point, the Trump administration put in place a policy of expedited expulsions from the U.S., which the Biden administration has started to roll back now. But in the meantime, as you mentioned, Border Patrol appears to be overwhelmed. We know that they lack the capacity to hold all of these unaccompanied minors who recently crossed through the border. So what's the immediate solution in your mind to this problem?
Well, keep in mind, this is a 1944 law that's been in place, the health rationale. Title 42 is used only for adults. And it was interesting, the board of mayors that we had at the roundtable, they all said, and the county judges said, hey, we want Title 42 for the adult males. So they're used for for the adults, Title 42. They're not used for the kids at all. Now, should that be used for 17 and 16-year-old kids or teenagers? I don't know. That's a question that the administration has to look at. And of course, when you look at Title 42 for family units, usually that's not used for them, but it is used at times where the kids are over the ages of 13.
Yeah, this is something you alluded to, but it seems like the border agents have had to multitask, essentially patrolling the border while also processing and taking care of these young migrant children. Is this something that you witnessed yourself today, and what did it look like, if so?
Well, at this center, no, but I've been at other centers where Border Patrol become babysitters, changing diapers, providing food. That is not their job. Their job is to secure the border. And one of the things that we saw is that we're seeing drug cases go down and smuggling cases go up. Why? Because Border Patrol is focusing on people trying to come in. So it's a cost analysis that you have to look at. And, the organizations know exactly what they're doing. They'll send people one way and then send drugs the other way. And that's one thing that we have to keep in mind.
We know we're living in a polarized environment. You traveled with a Republican senator from your state. Do you see any potential for bipartisan solutions or compromises to help fix this immigration system?
I hope so. Senator John Cornyn and I have done things bipartisan. This Monday, as you know, there's a Republican delegation of all Republicans going to El Paso. Later on, you'll probably have a delegation of just Democrats. I think we need to do things more bipartisan. And I'll give you an example of how it works. The monies that go to the NGOs, the non-for-profits that are taking care of the kids, or the cities and counties, it's something that I and Senator John Cornyn worked on in a bipartisan way, and the humanitarian relief monies that we've added. So there are ways that we can do things bipartisan. And keep in mind, this is something that affects both Democrat and Republican administration. We saw it in 2014 under President Obama. We saw it under President Trump. And the situation we're seeing right now, it started in August of 2020 and started increasing. So even though it's President Biden right now, those numbers started increasing under President Trump. And we had Title 42 an MVP in place.
Let's talk about the current president. Do you think the Biden administration understands what's happening at the border? And do you think President Biden himself should pay one of these facilities a visit?
You know, certainly I welcome President Biden down to the border and have him come in and listen and talk to. He's a very smart man. I've worked with him before. In fact, I worked with him to do the monies, the assistance that we did for Central America back in 2014. Kay Ranger, a Republican, myself in appropriations, we added that money. But who was the leader? The vice president. He was the vice president, now the president of the United States. So he understands the push factors that we have in Central America. But we got to look at the pull factors. What factors affect us down here? And I think it'll be good. Look, quite honestly, he sent a delegation up here, the Homeland Secretary, the acting secretary for Health and Human Services, and a whole bunch of people from the White House. You know, they were about 2 miles away from my house. They never gave us a courtesy. They didn't call Congressman Vela, Congressman Gonzalez. They didn't talk to anybody at the border. You know, you can't say that a couple hours on the border is a substitute for a lifetime of experience. There's a lot of people on the border that live this day after day, the NGOs, the judges, the mayors down here. This is what they need to pay attention to. It's okay to listen to immigration activists, but they gotta listen to the border communities. They gotta listen to the border communities because after all, we live here. We didn't just come visit.
Congressman, would you call this a crisis?
You know, the numbers are at about 100,000, at least last month. Under President Trump, May of 2019, there were 144,000 a month. Nothing like 2014 or 2019, but we're getting there. The only thing what makes this a difference is the pandemic, because Border Patrol's capacities at 25%. You know, the other places are working at a very different way. You know, we've been complaining that we're not getting enough vaccines at the border and getting our hospitals overloaded. So when you start letting people in that have, some of them have not been vaccinated, it does cause some concern to us over here. And finally, let me make this point. People have asked me this question: why are we letting undocumented people into the U.S., but the legal visa holders from Mexico that spend over $19 billion a year, they're not letting those people in, the border restrictions? That's something I told the White House. You need to pay attention to the local communities because that resentment, it's starting to build that they're letting undocumented people in, but the legal visa holders that come visit their families or spend $19 billion in the U.S., they're not coming in.
Congressman Cuellar, we appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.